Kelvin, I'm going to say something, and we'll rip it right here from the beginning. And I want you to tell me if you've ever heard this before.
Okay.
All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone.
It's true.
Have you heard that before?
I think, yeah, I have, or at least like something very similar to that I've heard.
It was written by French philosopher Blaise Pascal. And you're supposed to say that with like a French accent, so excuse my pronunciation, but I was this person, right? I was the person that struggled to sit in a room alone. I tried to be deliberate and I tried to be able to control my impulses, but I've struggled constantly for years. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. I deleted all of my social media. So what's going on, guys? Welcome to Free Coffee. My name's Rob Riley. Kelvin McChesney is behind the camera with a mic. You just heard him. And today we are going to be talking about how I deleted all of my social media. So for over a month, I had no social media on my phone. I'm going to talk about my experience, why I did it, and why I ultimately decided to go back and put it all back on my phone after going through this experiment. First of all, you should know, and everyone should know, I have brutal ADD, diagnosed at a young age, put on meds, even though basically anyone who wants to can be put on any medication for ADD. I mean, you just go to a doctor and be like, I have trouble, and then you just get Adderall instantly. But it was something I was diagnosed with at a young age, and social media was something that I turned to a lot just for a quick like little dopamine dose, or just to escape, or just kind of get away from whatever I was doing. It became an impulse, and it was like that growing up. It was I never really dealt with it because it was never really a problem. It was just something that I always did. Side note, I did stop taking Adderall after a while because I hated the person I was on it. That stuff, it's insane that is legal. Or maybe I was just given a crazy high dose, but for me, that turned me into a person I absolutely hated. I mean, I was incredibly smart. I will give it to myself. I had much higher grades when I would take those. Not the point of this discussion. Anyway, social media became my knee-jerk reaction just to escape whatever I was doing. Oh, like I can't think of the next sentence in this essay I'm typing? Better whip out my phone and open up Twitter to look at the same tweets I've looked at every 5 minutes for the last hour I've been trying to write this essay, right? All that sort of stuff. Oh, I'm at dinner, phone dings, boop, phone's up, no questions asked, just lose the conversation, whatever it was. I was always disconnected mentally from the present moment. And it wasn't a problem as a kid, but as I've gotten older and as I've tried to develop as a person, take on additional responsibilities with business and with work, and trying to be a better significant other to my girlfriend, being present is extremely important. And it's something that with ADD and with social media, it's something I've always been really, really bad at. Now, I'm a dreamer kind of just to begin with. Layer that on with ADD and social media, and literally I can be talking with you, and halfway through your sentence, you'll look at me and you'll just be like, yeah, he's in a different place, like completely different place. Even if I'm really trying to focus, that stuff happens, and it's always been something I've struggled with. And social media kind of multiplied that for me. I literally would resort to picking up my phone at any point throughout the day, any hardship, any like little bit of just like inconvenience, and instead of pushing through, being present, trying to solve it, it was like an instant like pick up my phone to try to like just wait it out, think through it, whatever it was. And I'm not alone with that. Americans on average, according to a company called Azeron, pick up their phone 96 times a day. 96 times a day. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that people in our age group, right, 20s or late teens, probably are multiples of this, right? Like maybe not multiples, but a lot more than 96. Kelvin, if you were to guess, how many times do you think you pick up your phone a day?
250.
250? I would say I'm probably right around there too. Yeah, 100%, or I was 100%. Between text, emails, social media notifications, calls.
All the girls texting me.
Yes, Calvin's phone is just so wet. It just never stops.
Okay. We gotta cut that out.
I used to do the same thing with video games too, right? Like I would just completely disconnect myself from the world. I would just dive into the video games anytime that I was, battling with a little bit of like mental stress or strain.
You ever play Minecraft?
Yes.
Hours on end?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mindless too. Just
That
like,
was how it went, man.
yeah. For me, it was like Fortnite because
Oh, yeah.
I was able to kind of blindfold my depression hiding in just like, hey, I'm playing a competitive game and I'm getting really good at it. And I need to practice. Like I did all that to kind of get my way through and just kind of blindfold myself into thinking that what I was doing was like healthy and normal.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it was rough. That's where my head was at. But in 2020, there was another element that came into play with this, right? So not only am I checking my phone and with the knee-jerk reaction, but it's also terrible, scary, depressing stuff like COVID death tolls, political ads, fires all over the country, national unrest. Like every time now I have a knee-jerk reaction, I'm not getting pictures of puppies and fun little selfies. I'm getting literal crisis going on all around me. So I'm getting all of my energy zapped. So every 10 minutes I'm opening up my phone and I'm seeing crazy stuff. And, whether like not talking about the stuff that's on social media, just talking about my emotions, that was rough. And I was mentally really strained from that, trying to manage that, trying to deal with all of that. So I decided to disconnect myself. And I should probably preface this all with saying that I still had access to my social media accounts. I just deleted it from my phone. I still have my iPad. I needed to manage these accounts. There was no way I could just completely delete everything. I have businesses. I have to run these things. There's no way I can completely, but I wanted to add friction to the process. I didn't want it to be so effortless. I didn't want to just every 10 minutes be able to just whoop, Instagram right there, boom, open, done, on it, disconnected. No, I wanted it to be very deliberate. I wanted it to be like, I have to go grab a different device. I have to unlock that device. I have to open up the app to do it. And that process, that little layer of friction makes huge difference. There's a reason why these apps want to send you push notifications. Click on the push notification, boom, apps open. Guess what? You check out what the notification was for, but guess what? You go to the explore page, you check out what's trending on Twitter, and all of a sudden 30 minutes goes by. By the way, I already had TikTok off my phone, but TikTok I literally deleted before doing this whole experiment because TikTok's at least for me, Calvin, I don't know if you can speak on this, it was nuts addictive.
I agree. I only used it for a week and I said, I can't do this.
It was crazy how addictive that app is. I mean, it blew me away. The technology, the algorithm, it was unreal addictive. It was unreal how much time I could spend on that app without even thinking about it. So that app I deleted a long time ago. Still don't have that back on my phone, but man, that was kind of like my first wake up call with like, whoa, I can spend all day doing this. Let's talk about let's move on, right? I've talked about all the downsides, whatnot, but I had to make an adjustment. Otherwise I was just going to keep grabbing my phone every single time my brain told me. But delete the social media, get it off the phone. What happens? First of all, my impulses did not change immediately. I was still literally grabbing my phone constantly, checking like, oh, hardship, a little bit of mental strain, pick up my phone, go for Twitter, but it's just not there. So slowly but surely over like a week or two, start to grab your phone less, start to just kind of process things a little bit differently. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I haven't reached for my phone in like 30 minutes, right? Because nobody's texting me, but no social media, nothing. I've just been present. And all of a sudden that starts happening more and more and more. And then all of a sudden those impulses are gone. And it happens fairly quickly because you can get addicted to these apps so quick, just like that. But it takes weeks, or at least it did for me. But all of a sudden it's like, oh, after 3 weeks of not having the apps on my phone, I no longer have the impulse to go for it. Sure, it's like, maybe it's like nicotine, right? Where you're still like, man, that would kind of be nice to have right now. wish I had Twitter while I'm sitting on the toilet, but you don't. So you just kind of figure it out. You read the back of a shampoo bottle or something. You find other things to do that are maybe a little bit healthier and don't pull your energy like social media would. I was instantly able to have better conversations. I was able to be more engaged in conversations. Instantly had more energy throughout the day. I mean, these were like instant things. Just not getting your energy zapped by social media every 10 minutes. It was night and day. And that was something that was really eye-opening for me. I was almost instantly, not instantly, almost instantly a better boyfriend to Lexi. Now, just being able to have a conversation, there's time, she'll tell you, and she will probably tell you with great joy. There's times where I literally can't hold a conversation. I have to like physically sit down and physically focus because I'm in such a different place. That got a lot better very, very quickly. And I was proud of that because I want to be a good partner. I want to be able to, if me and Kelvin are having a conversation, he's taking time out of his day, right, to be here, to record this. I want to be able to like listen to him and hear him and understand what he's saying and process it and be able to give good feedback. That's what friends do. That's what a good friend does. And to be able to do that instantly better was a huge plus. Now that's a skill. Listening is a skill that's not easy. It's actually one of the hardest things in the world. But when we're talking about, like, we interviewed the guys at OnBing, Cole Parzik was here, and he talks about getting 1% better every day. This is something you can do where if you can learn to control your impulses instantly, overnight, you become better at everything you do in every aspect of your life. That is just, and it's something everyone can do. Now, I saw improvement in my general ADD. Just being able to do things, handle tasks, focus for longer durations without anything else. That was huge for me as well, because that's something I've struggled with forever. I've, like I said, used medication to try to help it, and that worked, but I just didn't like the person I was when I was on it. So I wasn't going to resort to that for life, but to be able to cope with it a little bit better, to be able to focus a little bit more, to get a little bit more done every day and become a little bit more effective, that was huge for me. Let's see. The most important thing, I made a note right here. The most important thing now is that I learned to not have uncontrollable impulses every time my phone goes off. And that was huge because, and I'll give a tip for this at the end. Whenever I would get a ding on my phone or anything, it would just, you pull it out, nonchalant, doesn't matter. Then all of a sudden it starts to creep into while you're driving. You're like, oh God, like just on, a straight road, I can whip open my phone. And then all of a sudden it's like these habits, these impulses can literally risk your life. You know what I mean? Something like that. One thing I did learn to do through this whole experiment is I changed what my notifications sounded like and felt like. So for the most important people in my life, I changed their notification sound and vibration on my phone. And what that allows me to do is if my phone's in my pocket and I'm having a conversation or I'm eating dinner or I'm driving and my phone dings, I know whether or not it's one of my core 3 or 4 people or if it's something that can wait, right? If it's business, if it's, all that sort of stuff. Even let's not take driving. Driving, it can always wait. But at dinner, my phone goes off and it's like, oh, is it my mom? I'll check. What's my mom saying? Is it crucial? No. Put it back in my pocket. I'll reply after dinner. If it's crucial, it's like, oh, okay, I open my phone. But if it's not my mom, if it's not my dad, if it's not Lexi, if it's not my brother, I'm not checking. And I can wait and I can put that off. And that control is something I'd never had before. And with that, you might be saying, wow, all these benefits he's talking about, all these good things, right? Why the hell would you put social media back on your phone and go backwards? Well, the thought experiment doesn't change post social media. You put everything back on your phone. If you actually went through the motions and did this and experienced this, you're going to see the benefit. It's just like fitness. Yeah, fitness sucks. There's no way around it. Like working out hurts, but you still go back to it, right? You still do it because there's something about it that's, one, it's euphoric, but also, it's good for you, right? Not checking your phone, it's not the best feeling, like to restrict yourself and not just go with your impulses, but you know it's good for you and you know it's beneficial. So being able to see all that, see all those benefits, and then say like, oh, this was beneficial, this is good. Being present clearly enhanced my relationships. I'm able to now not just be controlled by my impulses as much. And there's still times I still fail, I'm human, but making that difference, seeing the benefit, I was able to go back and say like, all right, can I put these on? And maybe you just turn off notifications, you push notifications. Maybe you don't, but being able to just control your impulses a little bit more, which is I think the whole point of this and what I really got out of it, is something that stays with you. It's a skill. It's not just like uncontrollable to the point where you have to have social media off. You can learn to be present with social media on your phone. You can learn to control your impulses. And that's something that I got out of this, and I'm super happy I did. Let's see. Calvin, I'm going to have you clean this part up a little bit while I catch up on my notes because I kind of went off the rails. If I ever get to the point where I feel like I'm back to the point where I was and it's uncontrollable, I can always just delete the social media again. I can re-go through the experience of getting back and seeing the benefits and reminding myself. So I'm not super concerned, because if I see myself go straight back to my old ways, guess what? Yeah, the other way was better, so I'm going to delete it all again and just put it on my iPad, or, you know, if you have an extra phone, you can put it on your phone, whatever it might be. I would recommend this to people. Now, I know on this podcast, like I said, we talk a lot about just getting a little bit better. This is something you can do, like I said, that instantly makes a better impact on your life if you can learn to control your impulses. And it's something that I was never good at, still not great, but definitely better at. Being able to be more present, control your impulses, and not giving away all of your energy, your precious energy in this one life to an app, makes you a better person, and there's no way around it. You can do this and still manage social media. Like I said, I didn't restrict myself 1,000%. I still had access to these apps, but I made it much more, like I increased friction through that process. For you, maybe you don't have an extra Apple device. So maybe you just use the web app version of these social medias. Maybe you just use web Twitter, web Instagram, all that sort of stuff. Don't download the app. Don't make it so easy. Make it so that you have to open up your computer, go to the website, and scroll. That's a lot more friction than just clicking on something and it's there and you lose 30 minutes, right? Anyone can do this, and I would definitely recommend it. With that being said, that's it for today. Nice and short and sweet. We've been cranking out the episodes. We have been just released some of our first interviews since coming back. So if you haven't checked those out yet, definitely be sure to check those out. But until next time, this is Free Coffee. My name's Rob Riley. Calvin McChesney is behind the camera. Peace.